Look around your home for a second. There is probably one spot you already know. That chair with 2 or 3 things draped over it. That corner where bags somehow collect. That kitchen counter where everything in your hands lands the moment you walk through the door. Almost every home has a place like this. And the problem isn't simply that it looks messy. Every object sitting there is a tiny, unfinished decision. Put enough unfinished decisions in one room, and the room starts asking something from you every time you look at it. Now picture the opposite. A quiet room, one low table, maybe one plant, nothing scattered across the floor, a clear surface. Enough empty space that your eyes have somewhere to rest. You can almost feel yourself exhale. What is interesting is that creating this feeling doesn't have to cost anything. Japanese approaches to living with less often begin with a very different question. Not, what organizer should I buy? But, what does this space actually need? Today, I'm going to show you 15 zero-cost habits and ideas inspired by Japanese living that can make almost any home feel calmer, lighter, and easier to maintain. No renovation, no expensive storage system, no shopping trip. And stay with me until Secret 14, because one of the most useful organizers in your home may currently be sitting in your recycling bin, but Secret 15 may be even more useful, because it shows you exactly where to begin when you don't know what to declutter first. Let's start with 5 habits that can change the feeling of a room almost immediately. Secret 1 is the genkan reset. In a traditional Japanese home, the genkan is the entrance area where outdoor shoes are removed before entering the main living space. At first, that may sound like nothing more than a cleanliness habit, but psychologically, it can do something more important. It creates a boundary. Outside ends here, home begins here. Removing your shoes becomes a small physical signal that the noise, dirt, movement, and demands of the outside world don't automatically follow you into the rest of your home. And you don't need a Japanese-style entrance to borrow the principle. Choose one exact place near your door where outdoor shoes always stop. It could be a mat, a small existing shelf, a corner beside the door. The important part isn't what you buy. It's the boundary you create. Try it consistently for a week. You may notice that something surprisingly small begins to change. You stop feeling like you've simply walked into another room. You start feeling like you've arrived home. Secret 2 is ma. This may be one of the most important ideas in the entire video. Ma is often described as an appreciation for space, pause, or the interval between things. Think about music. If every second were filled with sound, there would be no rhythm. Think about a conversation. Without pauses, even meaningful words become exhausting. A room works in much the same way. It needs places where nothing is happening. But most of us organize in the opposite direction. We look at an empty corner and ask, what could go there? We see an empty shelf and think, I should fill that. Ma asks a better question. What if this space is already doing its job by being empty? Walk into one room in your home and look at the floor. How much of it can you actually see? Then look at your tables and countertops. Is there anywhere your eyes can land without immediately encountering another object? If the answer is almost nowhere, your first problem may not be lack of storage. You may simply have too little emptiness. And this is difficult because almost every object can make a case for staying. You paid for it. Someone gave it to you. You might need it someday. It could be useful. But instead of asking only, does this object deserve space? Ask one more question. Does this space deserve to remain open? Sometimes the most valuable thing you can put in a room is nothing. Secret 3 is the 1-minute morning air out. Before checking your phone, before worrying about the entire house, open a window, even briefly, let the room change. Fresh air, a little outdoor sound, A change in temperature, a curtain moving. It creates a small but unmistakable signal. Yesterday is over. A new day has started. And there's another reason this habit works so well. When a room feels stale, we tend to leave it exactly as it is. But the moment the environment changes, taking one more small action becomes easier. You open the window, then you straighten the blanket. You move the cup. You put away the book. You make the bed. One action creates momentum for the next. So don't begin every morning by telling yourself you need to clean the house. That's too big. Just change the air. Then see what happens. Secret 4 is flat surface 0. Here's something worth noticing. Clutter rarely arrives as clutter. It arrives as the phrase, "I'll put this here for now." The keys go on the table for now. The unopened mail goes on the counter for now. The mug stays beside the sink for now. The bag sits on the chair for now. Each decision takes only 2 seconds. But repeat it 20 times, and suddenly an entire surface has disappeared. Clutter is often nothing more than delayed decisions accumulating in one place. So don't try to clear every surface in your home today. Choose one, just one. Maybe your dining table, your kitchen counter, your bedside table, or the top of a dresser. Declare that surface a no parking zone. If something doesn't actually belong there, it doesn't get to stay there overnight. Protect that empty surface. Because one completely clear surface can change the visual feeling of an entire room, and more importantly, it becomes proof that calm is possible. Secret 5 is the 5-minute night reset. This is where the first 4 habits come together. Before going to bed, spend 5 minutes returning visible things to where they belong. Not deep cleaning, not reorganizing cupboards, not scrubbing the bathroom. Just reset what the day disturbed. Return the cup. Hang the jacket. Move the shoes. Put the remote back. Clear the table. Fold the blanket. If you tend to keep cleaning once you start, use a timer. 5 minutes. Then stop. Because the purpose isn't to create a perfect home. The purpose is to stop today's disorder from becoming tomorrow's problem. A 5-minute reset every evening is often more powerful than an exhausting cleaning marathon once a month. And think about who benefits most from those 5 minutes. Not really you tonight, you tomorrow morning. You're leaving a small gift for the version of yourself who wakes up and doesn't immediately see 10 things demanding attention. Now, if you practiced only those first 5 habits, your home would probably begin to look different. But looking organized and staying organized are 2 completely different things. The next 5 ideas are about the mindset that makes simplicity last. Secret 6 is the Osoji mindset. Osoji refers to the tradition of thorough cleaning, especially associated with the end of the year in Japan. But the useful part isn't simply the amount of cleaning being done. It's what the cleaning represents: closure. You clear away what accumulated during one period before entering the next, and you can borrow that idea on a much smaller scale. Instead of telling yourself, "I have to clean this terrible kitchen again," try thinking, "I'm closing today's kitchen." Instead of, "I need to clean my desk," think, "I'm resetting this space before tomorrow begins." The physical task hasn't changed, but its meaning has, and meaning matters because resentment makes even a 10-minute task feel heavy. A reset has an ending. A chore feels endless. One makes you feel behind. The other tells your brain that something has been completed. Secret 7 is the Kire standard. Here's a question almost nobody asks when decluttering. When does decoration become clutter? Not when you own too many decorative objects. The line may be crossed much earlier. It happens when you stop caring for them. Look at the objects sitting on your shelves. A framed photograph, a vase, a souvenir, a candle, a small ornament you once loved. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I actually noticed this? If an object has been gathering dust for months and your eyes barely register it anymore, it may no longer be adding beauty. It has become background noise. This doesn't mean you need to throw away everything decorative. It means meaningful objects deserve attention. If something deserves a place in your home, it also deserves to be seen, touched, cleaned, or appreciated. 10 objects you genuinely notice can make a room feel far more personal than 50 objects you've learned to ignore. Secret 8 is the probation box, and this one is for anyone who gets stuck on one sentence. But what if I need it later? Don't force yourself to make a permanent decision. Run an experiment instead. Take the things you're unsure about, put them in a box, close the box, write a date on it 30 days from today. Then put the box somewhere out of normal sight. If you genuinely need something inside during those 30 days, take it back. No guilt, no failure. You've learned that it actually has a role in your life. But if 30 days pass and you never open the box, that tells you something too. The probation box works because it replaces an emotional question, will I regret losing this forever? With a much easier question. Can I live without seeing this for 30 days? You're not forcing yourself to let go. You're gathering evidence, and evidence makes decisions much easier. Secret 9 is gratitude before letting go. One of the reasons objects remain in our homes has nothing to do with usefulness. It's guilt. Someone gave this to me. I spent good money on this. I used to love this. This reminds me of another time in my life. So we keep the object because getting rid of it somehow feels disrespectful. Japanese decluttering approaches have helped popularize a different way of thinking about that moment. Instead of treating letting go as rejection, acknowledge what the object already gave you. Maybe those shoes carried you through hundreds of days. Maybe that book mattered to you 5 years ago. Maybe that gift made you feel loved at the time. Maybe that kitchen tool taught you that you don't actually enjoy cooking that particular thing. An object doesn't have to remain in your home forever for its presence in your life to have been worthwhile. Sometimes gratitude is what allows the relationship to end. You can appreciate something and still let it go. Secret 10 is mottainai. This Japanese expression is often connected with regret over waste. But there's an important trap here. Don't waste it can easily become an excuse for keeping everything. The clothes you never wear, the kitchen appliance you never use, the books nobody reads, the extra chair nobody sits on. We tell ourselves that throwing something away would be wasteful. But consider another possibility. Could leaving a useful object untouched for 10 years also be a form of waste? If someone else could wear it, use it, read it, or enjoy it right now, letting it move on may actually respect its usefulness more than storing it indefinitely. So when you're struggling to release something, don't ask only, would getting rid of this be wasteful? Also ask, is keeping it unused any less wasteful? That question can completely change the decision. Those were the 5 mindset shifts. Now, let's make everything extremely practical. Because the final 5 cost nothing, require almost no preparation, and can be tried with things you probably already have at home. Secret 11 is the shoebox divider. Before buying drawer organizers, look at the boxes you're about to recycle. Shoe boxes are especially useful. Leave them whole for larger categories or cut them down to create smaller compartments. Use one for socks, one for underwear, one for cables, one for small kitchen tools. Different box sizes can fill awkward drawer shapes more effectively than a single, rigid, store-bought organizer. And here's the important part. Try storing small items vertically when possible. When everything is stacked horizontally, the object at the bottom disappears. When items stand upright, you can see almost everything at once. And what you can see is easier to use. Secret 12 is the hanging rule. Before buying another storage rack, ask this. What do I already have that could get this object off the floor? An existing wall hook, a doorknob, the back of a door, the side of a sturdy shelf, an unused coat hook. Why does this matter? Because floor clutter is visually loud. A bag lying on the floor looks abandoned. The exact same bag hanging neatly from an existing hook looks intentional. Nothing about the object changed. Its relationship to the room changed. So if a room feels messy but you're not sure why, look down first. Shoes, bags, cables, boxes, clothes. Get a few things off the floor before doing anything more complicated. You may be surprised by how much bigger and calmer the room suddenly feels. Secret 13 is visual quiet. This may be the easiest experiment in the entire video. Look at one shelf in your bathroom, kitchen, or laundry area. How many labels are shouting at you? Bright logos, different fonts, red bottles, blue bottles, yellow boxes, warnings, brand names, product claims. A shelf can be perfectly organized and still look chaotic because your eyes are processing 15 competing designs at once. So experiment with reducing the visual noise. Where it is safe and practical, turn containers so the loudest branding isn't facing outward.